Came out here because I wanted to shoot this video before all this was gone. My truck setup has been basically the same since 2021. Well, we added like a rear bumper and there's been some accessories and stuff, but basically it's looked the same. Same rooftop tent, same bed rack, but today, that's all gonna change. Truck. I'm excited to talk about this. Now, this is going to be a 2-video kind of series on the update to the truck. The second video, the one's going to come out a little bit later, is going to be about this beautiful rack by Extrusion Overland. I've still got some mods that I'm working on that, and I want to get all my gear on it so I can show you guys how I'm going to use it. It's a super awesome modular design. That video is coming soon, so be watching for that. But today, I want to focus on this new rooftop tent by OPENROAD 4x4. I've done a ton of research on rooftop tents leading up to this decision. As you guys know, if you watch any of my content, I've been running a Free Spirit Recreation High Country 55 soft shell tent on the truck from the beginning of this channel. And I loved that tent. There was definitely pros and cons to it. It was a soft shell, which made setup and tear down kind of a pain, but you get all this massive footprint when it's folded out, and it took up virtually no space on the truck. So I really liked that tent, and I wasn't like eager to change, but I've been doing research, actually years of research on various tents, talked to a ton of different companies at expos, and I kind of distilled down what I was looking for to these basic criteria. So number one, I wanted it to be hard shell, all metal if possible. I didn't want to have to deal with taking off a soft top anymore, putting it back on. Was looking forward to getting away from all of that. Number two, I wanted it to be a clamshell. Now, I went back and forth on this for a long time because they do make hard shell, all aluminum, fold out tents. A lot of you guys have seen those. iCamper makes some like that. Colorado 4x4 makes some like that. Those were great tents. Ultimately though, I have a camper, and that camper is intended to be used for when I have my family with me. When I'm not pulling the camper, it usually is just one, maybe two other people with me, and those tend to be kids. So for me, I didn't need the footprint of a fold-out tent. I didn't need the additional bed space of that. So I was good with the idea of just doing a clamshell. Now, there are some things I don't like about clamshell tents. A traditional clamshell, you guys have all seen them. They do like this, and they pop straight up like this. There's a million companies making tents like that, and a lot of people really like them. That's great. My big complaint with like the traditional clamshell tent is, when you open it up, it's real easy to open and close, but there's a certain amount of like unusable space in those tents, right? It's where the top meets the bottom, right here. The gap where that comes down, you can't fit your feet there, you can't fit your head there. And so if I'm gonna be going with a reduced sleeping footprint, right, so like a smaller space to sleep in, it's really important to me that I am able to utilize 100% of the space. I'm gonna be real honest, when I first found this tent, I was surprised because I know OPENROAD because of their awesome winches. They make incredible winches, and I thought they were just a winch company, kind of like Warren or something. When I found the tent, I looked at it and I said, oh, that's like a really sleek looking design, and it's got the struts and the pop-up, and it has this additional hinge mechanism at the end of the tent to solve the problem of that space. So I was like super interested all of a sudden with this winch company and this tent they had. And I started doing more research. One thing that I found as I started going to YouTube, like probably a lot of you guys do, maybe you're watching this video because you are potentially interested in this tent and you haven't seen much on it. So you're watching this to try to figure out what it's about. So here's what I would say to you. As I started watching YouTube videos about this tent, I noticed real quickly, nobody shows like the unboxing and install of this tent. It was always like what I'm doing right now, standing out here in front of the tent, talking about it. Maybe in a minute they'll go pop it up and go inside. That was kind of it. I wanted to see, okay, how's this thing shipped? How do you open it up? How do you put this thing on your rig? How does all that work? And so that's exactly what I did. we're gonna go back in time for just a second over to the OZK Vans shop. And we are gonna open this tent up for the first time, install it on this truck for the first time, and then we'll cut back to here and I'll kind of keep telling you about like my impressions of the product and all that stuff. One important note on this style tent, you do have latches on the front end of the tent, and that is because it pops up and then goes open. So you want to make sure you get these undone. Super simple to do that. We got that one right there. We'll go do the other side real quick. All right, come over here to the other side, pop that up, and that one's done. Pay no attention to the snorkel head missing. That was a car wash accident, a manual car wash accident. Don't at me in the comments. Next up, you have your back two latches. This is going to be like a traditional clamshell tent, and these are the last two latches that you need to undo. And just like that, insanely easy. Now, let's talk about what you get with this tent. You get this nice big shoe bag. You got the mesh bottom in that, so if you got muddy or wet shoes, you can drain out a couple compartments here. And then these little clips, so you can clip this to the tent. We'll put it right here. Just like that, you can have your shoe bag hanging down. This actually might also be cool for gear or something since it's right here kind of by the cooking station. I don't know. Then you get this LED strip, and it has a switch that plugs in here. You can put that in a battery pack. This is Velcro on one side, and there are multiple places you can stick this. The big surprise for me about this particular tent is the mattress. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but everybody and their dog complains about the mattresses and rooftop tents. They 100% across the board suck. I have tested a million different tents at expos and events. Buddies that have different tents, I have felt the factory mattresses. They're all horrible. I've never had a good one. And for some reason, this tent company, who I was completely unfamiliar with up until here just a little bit ago, they actually got a good mattress from the factory in this thing. Now, I already ordered a Xpad Duo 10 for this. That's one of those self-inflating mattresses because I just knew this was gonna be horrible, but it's actually pretty good. So I want to show this to you. Let's take a look at this. This is good, firm, but still comfortable memory foam. You can see it's a good couple inches thick. We have the vapor barrier down here. I mean, this mattress is one of the thicker, more comfortable mattresses I have ever seen in a rooftop tent. That is a good 1.5 inches thicker than my Free Spirit Recreation mattress, and it's actually good foam. Like, this is gonna be a much more comfortable surface to sleep on. I'm gonna test this with my self-inflating mattress when that comes in. I am gonna test it with it because I do think it will be more comfortable if you have them both in here. But I'm looking forward to sleeping on this tonight because I think it's gonna be pretty comfortable. There's a little window in the front of the tent. I think that's gonna be really handy in the summertime when it's really hot, you're trying to move the air through. Of course, you do have these 3 big windows, but having that right up there you know, by your feet or your head, depending on how you sleep. I think that's gonna be really nice. Okay, let's see how long this takes to tear down. I've only actually packed this tent down one time, and that was in the shop whenever I was loading up to head here today. I'm not gonna rush. I'm just gonna take my time like I would if I was, you know, just camping normally. I don't have a good system in place. This is gonna be like real world, like what it's like to tear it down. So I'm gonna set a timer. We're gonna start and see how long this takes. 3, 2, 1, go. That is so much easier than what I'm used to. So I gotta be vulnerable for just a second and tell you guys, actually when I sold my previous setup, my RCI bed rack and my FSR rooftop tent, and the guy was driving off of it down the road, I got a little bit sad. I was just like, man, that setup, there's so many memories and awesome trips with friends and family that were tied to that little setup. And I'm a sentimental guy, and I saw it going off, and I was just like, that was a good era for the channel. I'm excited that he's gonna take that stuff now and go do fun things with it, but that was a really fun era on the channel. I have to say, I am so excited about this new setup. It's just so much easier to deploy and break down. I used to dread that. I was used to being the guy that rolled into camp and was the last one to have my stuff set up. The next morning, whenever we'd leave, I'd be the last one to have everything torn down. The easier that we can make it to just pack up and go, hit the trails and have a good time, then the more we do it. And that's true for almost anything. The fewer barriers you put between yourself and the thing, the more times you will do whatever the thing is. And so this just makes that much more accessible and fun and easy. And I love it. I'm just super excited about it. Now, don't forget, in the beginning of this video, I did mention I've got a whole video coming out about this rack, the extrusion rack. And this rack is amazing. And you guys are gonna love it. There's all these cool slide outs and lift gates, but I wanna get it dialed in exactly how I'm gonna use it with all my gear on it so I can really show you why I designed it the way that I did, picked the options that I did. And so there's still some modifications I'm working on. This video is coming soon. But so this one, I just wanted to focus on the tent. Huge shout out, speaking of the tent, to OPENROAD, the guys over there making this killer product. If you are in the market for a rooftop tent that you know, is a hard shell tent, maybe you're considering jumping from the soft shell to the hard shell, or you just want something that's easier to deploy, I highly recommend that you guys check out this design, the one that pop up and then do the clamshell opening. I think over the next year, probably, we're gonna see virtually everybody that makes clamshell style tents doing this. It's just one of those designs that just makes more sense. There's probably gonna be a ton of patent dispute litigation, whoever owns this design, but it's one of those things that just once you see it, you go, that's just a better version of the traditional thing. So definitely consider OPENROAD. Thanks you guys for watching. Now real quick, before I let you go, I want to tell you, I've got this little personal goal on this channel of hitting 10,000 subs. Now that's crazy for me to even say that. And the reason is I started 2023 last year